How to guarantee that your Amazon FBA product will sell. What's up guys, my name is Dan and in today's video we're going to be talking about how to make sure that the Amazon product that you're launching is going to sell. Now if you're a beginner with Amazon FBA or if you're somebody who is just starting an online business, somebody who maybe discovered Amazon maybe this month or last month or just recently and you want to establish a passive income for yourself, there are certain things you need to know about your Amazon product that are going to determine whether it's going to sell or not. So in this video I created a complete checklist for you guys. I want to start the video off with a disclaimer, and this is something that is very important for you to hear. This is something that is extremely important if you are a brand new entrepreneur, because this is a core fundamental part of entrepreneurship. So there is never a guarantee in business. There's no guarantee in business, actually. In fact, you will probably fail and run into obstacles you haven't even thought of before you experience success. And that's just the truth. And that's just something that I had to face when I was first starting out with Amazon FBA, with online business, with e-commerce. Eventually, though, if you have the correct information, if you have the right information that is already, making so many Amazon sellers out there rich and successful, and that is already making so many other brands, six-figure brands, seven-figure brands successful, and you persist through the obstacles that you will inevitably encounter, because there will be obstacles, it's entrepreneurship, you will succeed. And that's the most important part. So everybody is looking for guarantees, and although I can't give you a guarantee that your first product will sell, this is the closest thing that I can give you from my own personal knowledge, from my own personal experience, and from my own mistakes that I've made launching at this point probably over 50 products over various platforms, over Amazon, over Shopify. I can tell you what works and what doesn't, and what you have to make sure of when you are launching your product. The key is information. And you must have the right information if you want to succeed in this business, and in fact in any business. There is the correct information that is, that the $1 million sellers are following, that the successful sellers are following, and then there is the rest of the stuff that is just confusing everybody, especially you, the beginner, someone who's just starting out, someone who wants to make online business work, but is so confused with the insane amount of information on the internet. That's why after selling on Amazon for years, and after personally mentoring and bringing hundreds of students from failure and the scarcity mindset to massive success with Amazon FBA, I've created a checklist that you absolutely must follow to have the highest possible chance of success with your Amazon product and brand. And if you follow it, I can tell you that your chance of success on Amazon will be maximized, and you will speed up what could take someone years to achieve, $10,000 to $30,000 a month on Amazon, and you can do that in 1 to 3 months. So let's start with the checklist. So the very first part of the checklist is your product. Now, 90% of your success on Amazon depends on the product that you choose. And this is so important because product research seems to be the hardest, not seems to be, actually in reality it is the hardest, the most challenging part of Amazon FBA, because finding that perfect product, there is no such thing as the perfect product. That's something that you have to understand right from the beginning. There is no such thing as the perfect product, but finding that product, sometimes it takes you a few days, sometimes you're going to start today and it might take you a week, 2 weeks, even 3 weeks, even a month. But it's incredibly important to make sure that you are putting in your all into your product research and you're not, half-assing it. You're making sure that you're actually thinking about the product that you're launching. You're making sure that the product that you're launching is adding value. Your product must solve a specific problem for a specific niche. This is so important. And on Amazon, time and time again, I've seen this overlooked. I don't know why. I think people have an idea that you can kind of just, throw things up on Amazon and expect them to sell. And that's not going to happen. It's not 2015 or 2017 anymore. You have to put a little bit of extra effort into it. And it's not a lot of extra effort, but it's just a little bit of extra effort into it. And the most important thing with your product, if 90% of success on Amazon depends on the product that you're going to choose, let me tell you, the rest of it is you will never succeed if your product looks like a dollar store product on Amazon. Somebody who's on Amazon, let's say, a mom going on Amazon.com and she's, looking at products, or there's literally like so many people that are addicted to buying products on Amazon, and they're constantly spending money on Amazon, money that they don't have. And obviously that's good for us, right? It's the consumerism going on in the Western world, in America and Europe. So the thing is that these people, what they don't want to see, our customers do not want to see us selling a Chinese, dollar store type product, something that we're just we took from AliExpress and we threw it up onto Amazon. So the reason why you are selling a product on Amazon is because you have the marketing skills, or you've acquired the marketing skills, obviously through these videos that I'm making and through everything that you're learning so far with Amazon FBA. You're getting the skills that you need to launch a product successfully and to really make it to really make it look super good and to brand it well enough that, a Chinese factory can't just go and list it on Amazon. So you want to make sure that your product does not look like a dollar store type product on Amazon. Something that someone can just find in the dollar store that doesn't have a brand name, that doesn't have a name. Now, the next most important part about your product is that it must have brand building potential. Your product must have complementary products that you can expand into that serve the same target market as your first product. And this is also so overlooked. People are constantly thinking about the short term, right? So many people think of online business and Amazon FBA specifically as, maybe I can find a product, throw it up there, and make a ton of money. And, obviously in theory, like it sounds like it's going to work, but if you're just going to start selling some, commodity type product like, I don't know, like a plastic cup or, a metal saucer or something like that, it might sell for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but you're not building any brand, you're not building any real asset, and the target market where you're selling your product, and they don't care about what they're buying, they don't care about your product, they don't care about your brand because there is no brand. So from the very beginning, you have to ask yourself, does my product have brand building potential? So I've created this checklist for you, and you can ask yourself, does my product add value to a specific type of person and market? So let's say if you are selling something for babies, obviously you're adding value to babies and most importantly to mothers, because that's the person that's going to be buying from you. So that's what you have to ask yourself. Does my product actually add value? You have to remember, it's entrepreneurship. It's not just some kind of a scheme, or it's not some kind of a, just throwing out products and hoping it's going to sell. It's still entrepreneurship. Like you're still, solving a problem. So if your product doesn't solve a problem for somebody, if it's just some piece of plastic, it's going to be very, very hard for you. So that's the first question. Now, the second question is brand building potential. Is my product a gimmick, or is it a commodity, or is it really the first product of a growing brand, a potentially growing brand that then you will expand, into 3 to 5 products? And so that's another question you have to ask yourself. Like I said, can I really grow this into a brand? And the third question, now this is really, really important, the 20% rule. So if you are launching a competitive market, if you are going to be selling a product that, there's not much difference between the rest of the products on the first page, you're going to have to follow what I call the 20% rule. And this is something that I made up after, seeing what's working on Amazon and what just doesn't work on Amazon. So you have to ask yourself, if you are in a competitive market, is my product at least 20% better than my competition on page 1? And you can answer that very easily if you're honest with yourself, right? If your product, for example, is made of a better quality material, or it solves the problem for the market better than the rest of the products on the market, something like that, right? A listing, of course you might say my listing is better, but everybody else can also create a better listing. So, it's much better to actually create a better product and to improve it with your supplier, because suppliers are always willing to improve your product for you, and they're willing to work with you because that's their whole business, right? So you have to ask yourself that. Now, if you're not in a competitive market, you're not going to have to follow the 20% rule as much, because let's say if you are taking a product that is selling well on Amazon USA, and that's what I'm doing a lot right now, and you're bringing it to Amazon UK or Amazon Germany or Amazon France or Spain or any of the other growing marketplaces around the world for Amazon, then it doesn't really matter as much in terms of the 20% rule. Like, you can take a product, and as long as the product is good, then you can bring it over. But if you're launching in a competitive market in the US, then you have to make sure that it's better, or else what's even the point of launching your product? You're just launching something that's already existing on the market. And now number 4 is viability. And this is so important. You have to ask yourself, is my product restricted, trademarked, patented, or even worse, banned? Now, in this case, if you're someone brand new, you might not know what all of the restricted products are. And, trademarks, you can check that yourself. Patents, you can check that yourself, Google Patents. And with trademarks, you can do a basic USPTO, it's called a basic name search, so you can just Google that. Now, in terms of product restrictions, there is a restricted products list on Amazon. You can check that out. Now, I know pretty much every single restricted product because I've been selling for years, and I've launched many products, especially my first year of selling, that have turned out to be restricted. And there is nothing worse on Amazon than investing your hard-earned money, thousands of dollars, and then finding out after the product gets into Amazon that it's restricted. And so, that's why you would, for example, invest into a course, into a mentor where, the person knows, you can run products by them, and then whether the product is restricted or not before you put in thousands of dollars into it, right? And that way you're not going to offset your success. You're not going to delay your success by, it could be 6 months or even years, right? So viability, very, very important, and make sure that make sure that it's not banned, it's not patented, it's not trademarked, and it's not restricted. All right, so let's check this one out. I have an example of product here that I pulled up, and it's a 24 cupcake carrier pack. And so for this product, let's ask ourselves, let's go through the questions here. So I have the questions right here. So the very first one is value. Does my product add value to a specific market? And I guess it's a cupcake carrier, so it does add value. Does it add massive value? Not really, but it does solve a problem. People need to, I guess, hold their cupcakes when they're making cupcakes. So yeah, I guess it would pass the value test, not by an insane amount, but yeah, it's not like a huge problem. You really have to look at the problem of the market. Like, is it a really big problem? I mean, people can just use plates to put their cupcakes in, right? So number 2 is brand building potential. Is my product a commodity, or is it really the first product of a potentially growing brand? Now, with a cupcake carrier, I mean, the only brand potential is that we go and start selling other carriers for cupcakes and things like that, and it's just, at the end of the day, it's just plastic, and you can just, you're supposed to throw it in the garbage. It says in the title. So no, it doesn't really pass that test. 20% rule: is this product better than 20% of the other stuff on the market? I mean, we have to do a Google search here, cupcake carrier. Actually, no, I would say that this one is better, because this one is like a much better build quality type thing, and like, it actually has a cover for the cupcakes, I guess, and it's not like a flimsy piece of plastic. So no, definitely not. Viability: is my product restricted, trademarked, or patented, or banned? No, it's not. So it passes that test. I would say, right away, I know that it's not going to sell. I know if I launch a cupcake carrier, it's not going to sell, not because of the competition, not because of anything to do with the numbers here, but simply because it doesn't really offer that much value. There's not really that much opportunity for a brand, and it definitely doesn't pass the 20% rule, and it is a competitive market, so, we should try to make the product better. So cupcake carrier is definitely a no-go. What about this hemp oil for pain relief? All right, this has been a growing trending niche on Amazon. So if we go and check out the questions here, all right, so if we look here, value: does my product add value for a specific type of person or market? Yes, definitely it does. I guess I think it might actually be CBD. Like a lot of people are posting up these hemp oil type products, and they actually have CBD in them, but you can't advertise it as a CBD oil on Amazon because that's restricted. So yeah, it definitely does add value. I guess it's for stress relief, and it stops anxiety and stuff. So yeah, definitely. Brand building potential, yeah, definitely. You can get into other hemp oil type products. It's a growing trend, so for sure, yeah. 20% rule: is it 20% better than the competition on page 1? No, I wouldn't say so, because for this product, I mean, the only way you can really make it better is by strengthening the creating a higher mg type, like stronger liquid. As you can see, like there's 2500 mg. So no, not really. And in certain, with certain products, it's really difficult to really make them a lot better. Like for this one, there's a certain limit of how far you can go. So no, I wouldn't say it's better. And is it competitive? I would say, actually, no, it's not that competitive. It actually looks like it's restricted to me. So in reality, when you see a product like this, it's hemp oil. It's simply hemp oil, and the reviews aren't there aren't that many reviews. So it makes me think that a lot of these are getting deleted, which brings us to our 4th question here: viability. Is the product restricted, trademarked, patented, or banned? Well, is it banned? I mean, more or less, cannabis is legal, but like, selling it on Amazon and selling hemp oil on Amazon, I would be extremely careful. And right away, I can predict that even if it will start selling, it might be short-lived. And so that's just common sense. Is it restricted? Definitely could be. Who knows? Who knows if these sellers know something that I don't know that allows them to sell on Amazon, and I can't, I can't sell on Amazon because of that. All right, and now let's look at one more. So I've got these blue light blocking glasses, which are a trending product. I've actually talked about it in a few of my videos here recently, and that's my VA. So if we open up Jungle Scout right here, we can see that the revenue is really, really great, and it's actually a great product on Amazon UK. So let's go ahead and put it through our checklist here. So if we open it up, does my product add value for a specific type of person or market? Yes, definitely it does. It blocks. I actually ordered one of these from Amazon US, and I'm waiting for it to come right now because it increases REM sleep, and it just basically allows you to sleep, have deeper sleep. And so that's something that I'm really excited to get. So yeah, in this case, I am the target market, and it definitely solves a problem. Now, for the second question, is there a brand building potential? Blue light blocking glasses, I mean, there could be. You'd have to do more research. You'd have to look into the market more and see, check it out, Google Keyword Planner, Google Trends. And so just, take a look. Maybe there are other similar products that people would be interested in, as well as blue light blocking classes. So I don't know there. 20% rule, is my product at least 20% better? Well, I haven't really selected one of these products, so we don't have something to compare it to. I would make sure that the glasses that I'm selling, that they look much more premium than the rest of these. And there's a ton of great models on Alibaba, AliExpress. Now, is the product restricted, trademarked, patented, or banned? Definitely not. No. So yes, I would say that it passes this test, especially if I get a higher quality model from Alibaba. Now let's talk about price and profit margins. So the 20% that will influence 80% of how much money you make on Amazon is your price. You guys know the 80-20 rule. I always talk about it. It's an important entrepreneurship principle, and it's the 20% of something that will basically be responsible for 80% of your results. And in this case, it's the price. The price will influence how much you make. So let's say there's two scenarios. We've got the first one where we're selling 10 units a day at $20 profit per unit, which is $200 a day, which is $6,000 a month. And then we've got scenario number 2 where we're selling 30 units a day at about $6 to $7 profit per unit, and then we're making $6,000 a month. So, take note that in both cases we're making the exact same amount of money, but we're, in one case we're selling 30 units, and in one case we're selling 10 units. Now, which one is easier to make money? And it doesn't take, a really smart person to realize this. It doesn't take a genius to know that scenario number 1, of course, is much easier to make money. And so the point that I'm trying to make here is that the higher profit per unit and the higher price that your product is on Amazon, the easier, so much easier it is to make money. And so our goal is to have the highest possible price in your niche, in your market, which results in the highest profit per unit in your niche. And the only way to achieve the highest price in your market is to provide the highest value in your market. And now the checklist for the price that you have to ask yourself about your product is, first, profit. Is my profit per unit above $8 to $10 at least? And did I get the best possible price for my supplier? This one is so important. You have no idea how many people right now, let's say 95% of Amazon beginners, especially those who are not getting, who are not in Ecom Freedom and who are not getting mentored and who are not investing in themselves, and they have no idea, they're following incorrect information. They're probably just basically taking the first available price from the supplier, and they're paying $10 per unit for something that should be, they should be paying maybe $2 per unit. And a lot of people fall for this, and then they complain when, they're wondering why they can't sell, why they can't make any profit. Well, it starts with getting the best possible price from your supplier and knowing the best negotiation strategies. So the next question is price. And by the way, that's where having the correct information, the correct knowledge will help you there. Now, the next question to ask is my price about $15 at least? Which is super, super important. Trust me, I've sold products from $6 all the way to $300, and I can tell you that the price cannot be below $15 unless you're really moving a lot of units per month. So, if you're selling like 5,000 units per month of a $12 product, that's fine. If you're selling about 300 to 500 units a month, if that's how much you're expecting to sell, then I would tell you that you need to make sure your price is higher than $15. I would say 20, 30, 40. The higher you can make it, the better it is. And with that comes value. So am I providing the most value in my niche through differentiation and improvement? That's what you have to ask yourself, because the more value you provide, the higher the price you can charge. And since your goal is to get the highest possible price in your niche, well then, obviously you need to provide the most value. And now the last part of this is perception. You have to understand that there is customer perception, and it heavily influences the person's, the customers, the potential customers' decision whether they're going to buy your product or not. And so your price has to communicate your product's value to your customer. If something is priced $50 on Amazon, if that's your price, then the customer automatically knows, well, then the value must be high because it's $50, as opposed to, let's say, everybody else in your market, it's $30, right? But if they click on your listing and the product looks even worse or the same as all the $25, $30 listings, obviously there's a disconnect between the customer perception and the true value and the price. You have to make sure that you're communicating the value of your product through your price properly. So if we pull up this grill brush right here on Amazon.com, I want to show you guys exactly what I mean by price and how it can communicate a completely different image of your product to your customer. So here we have two different products. We've got this Alpha Griller's brush for $12, $11.97. And then we've got this one, which is a brush as well, same size, for $20. Now, right away, if I'm a customer, I know that this is a better brush than this one, even though both are amazing listings. Why? Because the price is higher. And so that's exactly what I mean. So those are the questions that you have to ask yourself when it comes to price. And you have to make sure that there is no disconnect between the price that you're selling your product at and the actual value of your product. Now let's talk about launch strategy. And by the way, it's much easier for the grill brush at $20 to make money than it is for the $12 one. Even though both are selling and making a ton of money, I would rather be the $20 brush than the $12 brush. So the last important piece of the whole puzzle of the checklist is your launch strategy. And the real question is, how are you going to launch your product? The goal is, and I always have a goal for every single one here, the goal is to launch the product and get it ranked on page 1 for our top searched keywords in the niche as quickly as possible with a highly converting listing. And what I mean by a highly converting listing is that basically the amount of people that purchase your product compared to the amount of people that actually go on your listing and just see it. So it's the ratio between the people that are going on your product and actually buying, and the people that are just looking at it and not buying, or just like the total amount of people. So the quality of your listing will affect how many people buy your product out of everybody that clicks on it. And it's a very, very, very important part when you are talking about launch strategy, when you're thinking about your launch strategy. So many listings out there, and trust me guys, I know for some reason, many beginners think that you can just launch a product and the pictures are terrible and it just looks worse. It just looks bad compared to everybody else that's selling. Like, why do you think that you deserve sales when there are better competitors on the first page? So it's not that hard to get nice pictures, and it's not that hard to really get amazing copy on your listing. It's not that hard. Like, all these things you can outsource. If you don't know how to do it, just find someone that knows how to do it on Upwork.com, on Fiverr.com. I recommend Upwork. That's actually where I hire all of my help, and that's actually where I hire all of my virtual assistants. And anytime I need any translation or anything like that. So now let's talk about the checklist for your launch strategy. So ask yourself, is your listing fully optimized? Does it have beautiful pictures? And does it look 20% better than everybody else selling in the niche? And that's more important if you are in a competitive niche. And if you do, if you're following the 20% rule, you'll see that you won't even have to do a coupon giveaway. I don't recommend coupon giveaways anymore because they're not that effective. The next question you have to ask yourself is, are you going to run a PPC launch or coupon giveaway? I recommend a PPC launch. So just, start running PPC campaigns and then do an exact match campaign for your top keyword. Set the budget at $50 to $100 a day. And that's what I do. That's what I've done for many, many products. And I made sure that the products are actually better than everybody else selling in the market. And, it allowed me to launch with no coupon giveaway. I don't do coupon giveaways anymore because I already have lists, many chat lists and things like that. But that's what I mean. And so for the next question is follow up. Do you have your jump send email sequence in place to get reviews as fast as possible? You'd be surprised how many beginners they launch without an email sequence and then they wonder why they get no reviews. Right? So that's the best way to get reviews, by making sure you're following up with your customer. And for the email sequence, the one that I personally use and the one that my students use, that's located in Ecom Freedom, in the Ecom Freedom course. So the link for that is below. And so the next question you have to ask yourself is superiority. Is my product superior to everybody else on the market? And your first picture, the first picture that you have on your product is going to dictate that. So let's go ahead and search the toddler step stool, which is a product that I recently found. And so if we go through the listings here, if I am the purchaser, so I'm probably a mom who wants to buy a step stool for my toddler. So right here, I'm going to go, and the way that the brain works is you're just going to click on the one that jumps out the most, the one that catches the attention. So right here, the ones that are catching my attention, I would say probably like this one, even though, by the way, you're not allowed to use pictures like this on Amazon. So that's going to get, they're probably getting their picture removed every now and then because the pictures that are allowed are like ones on a white background. And so, clearly like this jumps out at me. What else do we have here? This doesn't jump out. Sometimes it might just, like this one clearly jumps out at me because it's completely different to everybody else, and it still appeals to the target market. So that's what I mean. And you want to make sure that your product and your listing jumps out. If I type in French press, this is the classic example that I use here, and then we scroll down, the one that jumps out is like this one. Look at this. Coffee Gator, they're killing it in the coffee game. I personally have purchased this product and it's amazing. And what they've done with the branding is an example, and should be an example to everybody who's launching a product on Amazon. And now I want to bring you guys to an important question. And behind my face here, it says, go out there and take action. And something that I always tell my students in Ecom Freedom, especially my new students, is where would you be today if you had started selling on Amazon 1 year ago? Like, think about that. Where would you be today if you had 1 year where, the whole time you were launching products, the whole time you were doing product research, you were growing a brand, something that will actually, keep putting money in your pocket for many years because, I'm teaching you the long-term approach, not the short-term approach of just throwing up products on Amazon and hoping they're going to sell. So that's what you have to ask yourself. And the one thing that's going to move you forward towards dream life is do something. All right, take action. That's the most important thing. Like the 80-20 of everything. The only thing that's going to move you forward is Actually, there's two things. Number one is following the right information, and number two is doing. Take action. All right? I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Subscribe to the channel and just realize how quickly your life can change if you'll actually do something.